I can't say that from now on I'll be a perfect citizen, but I'm just going to try day by day.
Welcome to Watch Mojo, and today we're looking at 10 of the world's oldest killers.
I would prefer to call her a monster.
For this list, we'll be exploring various people from around the world who have committed fatal crimes at an advanced age. This is by no means an exhaustive and authoritative list. Rather, we'll simply be looking at interesting stories involving elderly killers. Have you heard about any of these people? Let us know in the comments below. Albert Fish. All serial killers are despicable people, but Albert Fish is on a whole other level. Known by various nicknames like the Werewolf of Wisteria and the Gray Man, Fish was a notorious criminal who solely targeted young people.
Fish underwent psychiatric evaluations off and on throughout his lifetime. Doctors would later diagnose Fish as having an abnormal psychopathic personality.
He killed at least 3 little ones, but the true number could be much higher. In fact, Fish once claimed that he had children in every state, an eerie proclamation that is sure to conjure up nightmares.
Fish is regarded by many aficionados of crime as the scariest and most deranged of all American serial killers. Partly, I think it was because he seemed so benign.
Fish's last suspected victim was 17-year-old Benjamin Collings, whom Fish may have killed in December 1932 at the age of 62. He was finally apprehended 2 years later at 64. Dorothea Puente. Known as the Death House landlady, Dorothea Puente operated a boarding house in Sacramento and killed some of her tenants. After disposing of their bodies, Puente would cash their Social Security checks.
Murder charges notwithstanding, she's been stealing from helpless old people all of her life. And that is not the mark of a nice person.
While she was only convicted of 3 homicides, her total body count is 9. The first came in April of 1982 when Puente killed Ruth Monroe with a combination of drugs. At the time, Puente was 53.
And she had a reputation for treating tenants like family.
Her final victim was Alvaro Montoya, who disappeared in November of 1988, just a few months shy of Puente's 60th birthday.
We, the jury, in the above entitled cause, find the special circumstance allegation that the defendant, Dorothea Montalvo Puente, did commit multiple murders, to wit, at least 1 crime of murder of the first degree and 1 or more crimes of murder of the first or second degree to be true.
Her trial ended in 1993, and Puente received life in prison at the age of 64.
On March the 27th, 2011, Dorothea Puente died in prison. She was 82 years old. She took all her secrets to the grave.
Kevin Gavin. Back in January of 2021, a man named Kevin Gavin was arrested for killing 3 elderly women. The first homicide occurred in 2015 when Gavin killed an 82-year-old woman named Myrtle McKinney. 2 more victims followed in 2019 and 2021.
Investigators say Gavin became a prime suspect after the 2019 murder of 83-year-old Jacolia James, who was beaten to death inside her apartment.
At the time, Gavin was working as a handyman inside the Carter G. Woodson houses in Brooklyn, New York, which is also where the victims lived.
I can't lie. I'm not surprised.
Why do you say that?
Because he was always in and out of the building. He had access to the building. He had access to the tenants. All the tenants know him. And he was always looking for money.
When Gavin confessed to the killings, he claimed that all 3 victims owed him money for his work. He was eventually caught in January of 2021 after using the debit card of his latest victim. He was 66 years old. Tamara Samsonova. Forget John Wick, Tamara Samsonova is the real Baba Yaga. No, seriously, that's one of her nicknames, alongside the Granny Ripper. Samsonova's husband disappeared in 2000 when Samsonova was 53. Nothing has been proven, but Samsonova has long been suspected of killing him. In July 2015, Samsonova killed her roommate Valentina Ulanova and was arrested. At the time of her arrest, Samsonova was 68 years old. It is now believed that Samsonova may have killed up to 13 people throughout her life, with at least some of her victims being tenants of her apartment. Melissa Ann Shepard. A career criminal from Canada, Melissa Ann Shepard committed dozens of frauds throughout the 70s and 80s, and was in and out of prison. In 1991, Shepard killed her second husband, Gordon Stewart, by running him over with a car. Shepard claimed that she killed Stewart in self-defense, as he was physically abusive towards her.
Gordon, according to later accounts, was almost comatose from drugs and alcohol. A lethal dose, according to toxicology reports. But he was supposedly still able to attack Melissa. And when she saw a chance to escape, she ran him down with their car.
However, some people doubted her story. When she was convicted of manslaughter the next year, Shepard was 57 years old. In 2001, when Shepard was 66, her third husband died under mysterious circumstances. Shepard also attempted to kill her fourth husband, Fred Weeks, and was ultimately charged for lesser crimes in 2012.
She was administering drugs to him without his knowledge or consent. It was being done through the drinks, coffee.
She was sentenced to 3.5 years in prison at the age of 77.
The concern is Shepard still has that certain je ne sais quoi some men just can't seem to resist. What's more, the Crown fears she may revisit some of her old romances.
We believe that she poses a risk going forward to the particular group of elderly males that she has preyed on in the past.
Samuel Little.
You're sitting with evil in its purest form, but he came off like a grandfather.
Everyone knows the likes of Jeffrey Dahmer and Ted Bundy, yet Samuel Little has fallen through the cracks of general knowledge. This is curious, as he is technically the most prolific killer in the history of the United States.
Convicted murderer Samuel Little spent his youth in and out of trouble for various offenses, but it's believed that on January 31st, 1970, Little killed his first victim, Mary Brosley.
Little is confirmed to have killed at least 60 women, and he is suspected of killing upwards of 93. His crime spree lasted over 30 years, spanning from 1970 to 2005. Although it may have started as early as 1960 and ended as late as 2012.
Where did you kill the most?
Oh, that's easy. Florida and California.
Little admitted to killing Nancy Stevens in 2005 when he would have been 65. But his crimes may have continued up until his arrest in September 2012, when Little was 72.
Talking with Samuel Little was chilling. He is a true monster in every sense of the word. He is every female's worst nightmare.
Sandra Lane. On the afternoon of May 18, 2012, a 74-year-old grandmother named Sandra Lane shot and killed her own grandson, Jonathan Hoffman.
Her lawyer says she fired in self-defense. She described situations with her grandson that scared her, and under cross-examination, she testified about buying a gun and discussing her fears with her husband.
At the time of his death, Hoffman was 17 and had not yet graduated high school. Hoffman had been living with Lane at the time of his death, as his parents had moved out of state and he didn't wish to transfer schools. Hoffman's parents asked the jury to hit Lane with a harsh punishment, and they responded in turn, sentencing her to 20 to 40 years. Lane was 75 at the time of her sentencing.
Sandra Lane is pure evil, and if given the opportunity, would surely kill again. She has no remorse or conscience. Her only concerns are for herself.
When she learned that her mother was going to prison for the rest of her life, Jennifer Hoffman gave her mother a celebratory thumbs up. Ray and Faye Copeland. Throughout the late 1980s, Ray and Faye Copeland ran a personal farm in Mooresville, Missouri. Ray Copeland operated a scam in which he would pick up drifters, write them bad checks, and have them buy cattle for him.
It was odd that several of them would have checks, and then when we went to look for them, we couldn't find them. We'd enter them into the computer, but they never showed up.
He would then sell the cattle for a profit before the check bounced and kill the drifters to ensure their silence. It's believed that Faye was his accomplice, and their body count ranges from 5 to 12.
Of the 8 men on the Copeland's list, Thomas Park, Franklin Hudson, and Dale Brake are still missing.
The Copelands were both sentenced to death. At the time of sentencing, Faye was 69 and Ray was 76, making them the oldest couple in American history to have been sentenced to death. Baba Anuchka. The story of Baba Anuchka is a fascinating one. In the late 19th century, Anuchka worked as a healer in the Yugoslavian village of Vladimirovac. But really, we're just using the term healer in the loosest possible terms here. Anuchka would often sell a so-called love potion to those who came in for marriage problems. and this potion contained arsenic and various fatal toxins. It's believed that Anushka killed upwards of 150 people with this toxic liquid. She was finally caught in 1928 at the age of 90 and given a 15-year sentence. However, she was released at the age of 98 and lived 2 more years before passing in 1938 at the ripe old age of 100. Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications. Michael Juskin. When Michael Juskin killed his wife Rosalia with an axe in April 2015, he was 100 years old. Juskin was reportedly suffering from dementia at the time, and this may have made his home life dangerously unstable. Witnesses paint a dark picture of Michael and Rosalia's marriage. Bergen County prosecutor John Molinelli claimed that they had a history of domestic issues, and a neighbor told CBS News that their daughter was trying to get Rosalia away from Michael for some time. Shortly after killing his wife, 100-year-old Michael Juskin took his own life.